All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Talking some baseball with my guy, Gyiraszin. No, he is not in his house. You do not see Barry Sanders. You don't see any Torkelson cards. You don't even see a Modelo there, Mike Carr. It's not a Modelo. It's a Dos Equis. Gyiraszin coming from his camper. He might be freezing up sometimes a little bit. Hopefully you can hear him. The picture quality might not be the best. He's in his camper. Hopefully you can hear me right now, though, Gyiraszin. Tell the people what's going on, man. Talking some baseball, 5-game slate.
Yeah, man. Sorry for the internet out here sucks. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to juice it up a little bit. But yeah, you know, I told you I was at the grocery store. I went to go get some Modelo's that come out here, and all the Modelo's was wiped out. It was like a big hole in the wall, and all the Bud Light cases were all intact, not one missing. You fools, get off my shit, man. I've been drinking that way longer than any of you donkeys, and now you guys are all in my stuff. Like, this is just bullshit. But Dos Equis ain't bad. I'll drink those for the time being. But I had some of these too, Title. I don't know. I was drinking these neutrals. They're pineapple neutrals. They're kind of like High Noons.
Yeah.
They're all right.
It's alcoholic. It's alcohol. It goes down. That's all that matters. But I can attest, Gyiraszin was the Modelo guy before anyone. Of course, people were drinking Modelos, but Bud Light situation definitely hurt Gyiraszin over here. Everyone jumps the ship to his Modelos. He can't even find them anymore. So we only got 5 games to get hope. Gyiraszin right now, we can hear him. Picture goes out once in a while, but 5 games. Pitching, man, it is the grossest pitching slate I think I've ever seen. FanDuel, you only need a roster 1. Max Scherzer and move on. I think it's pretty easy on DK. I could imagine fading Max Scherzer. It's baseball. It's game theory. Anything can happen. But, man, pitching is gross. He is head and shoulders in a tier of his own. But what does that mean? If every other pitcher is tough, that means plenty of bats can get there on this slate. The Dodgers, Coors Field on this slate again. 3 consecutive days on the main slate. Again, the highest total. So, We'll break it down 5 games. Again, I don't know how much time we're going to spend on pitching because Max Scherzer is a lock for me. I assume he's going to be for you. Then we got to find something with an SP2. But got to say hi to a couple people in chat today. Brian England's in here as always. Jay Steele. Jeff's in here. What's up, Mike Carr? Zane. Jay Steele. I think I already said that. John. Our man Jake. Williams in here. Juice is in here. Juice said you look good today. Yes, you do. Chunky Blue. Gator Nation, Sean B. What's going on, everybody? Lyle, as Lyle said, hit the like in the way in. We do appreciate that. Takes a second, helps us out a ton over here, and that subscribe button as well does go a long way. Hamwich in here, too. He's got his DK slate plan. DK core plays up today. Hoop is at the Rocket Mortgage. A lot of action today. PGA, early MLB, late MLB. Ooh, that was almost close. A lot of time, a lot of money to be made. No better time to head over to SHIPIT.com. $59 a month, $599 a year. Showdown shows, showdown golf. We have content for that. Of course, MLB, MMA coming up this week too. We'll be live with Marley. Excited for that tomorrow. All content will be up tomorrow as well. So head over to SHIPITNation.com. Get in the Discord. That's enough of that though, Gyiraszin. Let's talk pitching on this slate. Doesn't look like really any weather we have to worry about for delays. Man, like I mentioned, top of the show, I'm not even going to group pitching a certain way because there's only 5 games on the slate. There's only 10 pitchers. Max Scherzer, head and shoulders above the rest. Like I said, I mean, FanDuel, if I played 150 teams, he would be in 150. If I played 150 teams on DK, he would be in 150. Tell me again, there's no right or wrong answer. It is baseball. Anything can happen. Great matchup against the Brewers. Max has been the old Max as of late as well. Talk about Max a little bit, and then outside of him, though, you mainly on FanDuel. You only need to play 1 pitcher. If you're playing on DK, though, who are we looking at SP2 on this slate? All 10 pitchers, break down your whole pitching pool right here.
Yeah, I mean, Thank God we only got to play one pitcher on FanDuel. But for me, it's Max all day long. Max has been pitching really well the last month. I mean, his walk rate is low. It's like 2% the last month. His strikeout rate is back up. And then you look at the rest of these clowns that we have on this slate. I mean, I'm not enamored with Chris Bassett, who's pretty much going to be the most popular SP2 if you're looking at DK. But I mean, you got Taijuan Walker against the Cubs in a hitting conditions that are not going to be favorable for pitching. You got Sheehan, who maybe you want to take a chance on against the Rockies, but then it's Coors Field. I mean, you could look at, it gets worse and worse as you go down. So obviously Max is the way to go. I'll get different somewhere else. You know, I'm not letting Max beat me. I mean, none of these guys here, I think the chances of them keeping up with Max are very low. I'm not saying it can't happen. It is baseball, but I think to myself, like, what's the odds or chances that this could play out to myself? And I just don't see too many favorable paths that I'm even enamored with that I think Max is going to get beat by some of these guys. So, I mean, it's a decent strikeout matchup. The Brewers are fourth lowest ISO and slugging percentage. OPS is low. They strike out a lot against righties. I mean, it's just all lined up for Max. I mean, even if this probably was a 10-game slate, I'd tell you Max is the play. So, it's just hard to go from that. Now, picking an SP2, to be truthful, I think at this point I would probably try to get it different as I can, try to figure out, who maybe has a good win equity. I don't really have one that stands out to me. I'm not going to just try to steer anybody towards somebody, to be honest with you. But, I mean, they're all a huge risk below. I mean, I don't even like Bassett, to be honest with you, title. So it's tough, really. I mean, you can flip a coin on some of these guys. I mean, I just really don't like any of them at all. I'm not going to make a case for any of them, to be honest with you. I just can't do it.
Talk about Sheehan a little bit. Multiple people have brought him up in chats. He is pitching in Coors Field. Talking about win equity, though, has a lot of win equity. Dodgers should put up a lot of runs. I don't love playing pitchers in Coors Field. This will be his third start. However, man, you tell me a pitcher SP2 gets 13, not named Chris Bassett and Max Scherzer, of course. I'll take 13 and run on DK, of course, that is, not on FanDuel. I will take 13 and run. Can Sheehan get us 13? Can anyone get us 13? Adrian Hauser grades out decently in our pitcher rankings over here. I mean, it's so tough, SP2. It really feels like Russian roulette after Max. And you're mentioning Chris Bassett, the second highest owned pitcher, the chalkiest SP2 on the slate. Like, why eat that in tournaments? If you're already playing Max, then you eat that. There's plenty of ways to go at bats. I will say that. Plenty of low-owned spots, but Bassett has a lot of concerns as well. I mean, I have interest in GPPs targeting against Bassett, who is going to be very popular just because of the nature of this slate. But, man, outside of Scherzer, again, Sheehan, I want you to touch on him a little bit. Any thoughts on Hauser with their pitcher rankings? And if you had to play DK, if you had one team, I know you don't want to say any SP2 because it really is gross. But what would your SP2 be on that main team? And then Chunky Blue brings up a point too, and I'll let you touch on it. Very, very rarely, 1-2 slates a year, maybe, a relief pitcher as the SP2 because they are 4K. Chunky Blue said, should you go for a relief pitcher at SP2? However, what I will say is we do actually have a starter that is min price at 4K too. So personally, I would not go a reliever route just because we do have the min price guy on DK. Keaton Wynn is his name. He's for the Giants. He's not a starter. Like, he's not going to be throwing 100 pitches by any means, but he's not just an opener that's going to throw one inning and get pulled. Maybe 3-4 innings. If he's actually rolling, maybe 5, but I'm expecting 3 to 4 in that range. At min price at 4K, you get me 9 points, 10 points, get all the bats you want. I don't think it's crazy. So no relief pitchers for me, but same thing because it is 4K. Very, very interesting. He probably would be my second favorite, literally, because I hate everyone else and just give me any bats I want. But touch on him, touching Sheehan, anything.
Sheehan isn't bad. I mean, he's had some quality starts his last couple games. I mean, he's been okay. I'm not going to say he's anything great. He's got a 7% swing and strike miss rate. their swinging miss rate. I mean, like I said, quality start his last 2. He's only had 4 walks, give up 3 hits, total 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, 12 innings. I mean, he had 18 DK points his last 2 starts. If I told you he was going to have 18 DK points right now, I think everybody would be willing to lock him in. So, but for me, Title, I think it's like throwing a dart at the rest of these guys left. Like, I think one of them is going to be able to get you there, but you got to look about how the field is going to be building their teams, to be truthful, because all these other guys are real cheap. So everybody's going to have Dodgers. So, so if you think you're going to be different by doing something crazy by having a 4K pitcher, you're not doing yourself any favors, in my opinion.
He won't be it's not necessarily different, but it's like SB, everyone's going to play max. Literally in single entry, max could be 95% owned today, and you never will see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And let's talk about this as DFS players. Like when there's a player going to be 80% plus owned, I've always asked, should you fade it? Should you fade it? At that point, I think there becomes a point in time you just ride with the field. Because especially in a situation like that, you can't, it becomes more of a risk if you do fade somebody that is going to be that high owned. They're that high owned for a reason. And especially, we haven't seen a slate like this in a while where a guy is just flat out going to be on almost everybody's team. And today is one of those days. And I usually regret, I've done it. I've been playing this a long time, Title. I usually get to myself where I think, what the hell did I do that for? But these are days where a lot of times I may play 3 teams where normally I play 1 or 2 on some occasions. But this was maybe I'll play 3, and then where I would fade a guy like Max on one of my teams to where 2 of the 3, if he doesn't, it doesn't hurt me. But if one does happen and I play a couple teams, sure, it does really help me out. But on my one main team, I'm pissed off that FanDuel's got a freaking $4,444 queue that filled up before midnight last night, which is a bunch of bullshit. Why don't you just give your queues to the top, guys that are playing every day? Come on, man. Now you ruined my day. I can't have any fun. I'd rather play for a queue, Title. It's more fun. So
I know you love those.
But that
queues.
shit pisses me off.
I know you love those queues, Gyiraszin.
I do. I love going to them events, and I look at it. Hey, if I blow 20K at one, I feel like I'm going to come up there, higher in the money. I'm going to get paid back. I've done very well over the years going to live finals, especially for baseball. So, I love to chase them. They're fun. But hey, real quick, let's give a shout out to Herman, the Yankees, with a freaking perfect game. If I told you last night there was going to be a perfect game pitch, what would you have said the odds were that it would have been JP Sears and not Herman? I told my buddy 10-1. What do you think? If you would have said there's going to be a perfect game, you would have said no way. 10-1 is Sears, right?
Between Sears and Herman, actually, like Herman I had him projected higher. I played him in FanDuel cash, DK cash. I went Snell. Herman, I thought I liked a little more than Sears, but I just thought the ownership, I thought Herman was going to be 30-something%. Sears was going to be like 20 or something. With that Dodgers lineup that ended up coming out with a lot of value in the bottom of the order, I think it did lower Herman's ownership. We talked about it on the show, and raised Blake Snell and Nola and stuff like that. But definitely big. I mean, Herman, 99 pitches, didn't even need 100 pitches for that perfect game. It was absolutely insane. Great. Go ahead. Oh,
I was going to say, I know, because when I saw him going in the ninth, I was checking his pitching. He had like 91 to start the ninth inning. It was impressive.
Yeah. Gyiraszin he's live from his camper, Philippe Burner. But yeah, we're talking like when someone's 95% owned, game 3 all day. Gator Nation's talking about it. Riza's said it. They're saying, I'm stacking Milwaukee first or last. I do not think that's crazy by any means. I totally get it. 95% owned, whatever he may be, is very, very high when you're talking something like baseball. The reason is, though, and why I'm not going to be doing that is, there's 10 teams on this slate, 5 games. Outside of the Brewers, almost every stack I think you can make a case for. A lot of good hitting weather, not good pitching, obviously, as we're talking about here. So the Brewers by far the worst offense there, and it's mainly just who else do you play at pitcher? Like you and I, we haven't even given anyone who we love at SB2. Bassett's going to be the chalk. I don't think just eating chalk at both pitcher spots is necessarily the way to go. I don't think it's bad. If you do go Bassett, there's plenty of teams you can get that are going to be lower owned. There's multiple ways you can go at bats. But SP2 is just so hard, especially on DK. If you aren't playing Max Scherzer, then you have to find two guys outside of that. It's just so hard that way. But no, I totally get you want to play against the mega chalk. Very, very interesting slate we have here. So, yeah, talking SP2, I'll say that Keaton Wynn guy at min price 4K is just my favorite because I hate everyone down there. Might as well get away cheap as possible, spend up at bats. Sheehan, I don't mind it. I think he'll get the win. People in chat, because I hate SP2 so much, multiple guys, Sean B stroking him up, a couple other guys. Maybe I'll just side with Chad a little bit. Bump Sheehan, I think he does get the win there. And if he's pitching well, he can go 100 pitches, which is not the case with all these guys on this slate. I think Taijuan Walker gets some ownership. Man, good hitting weather now in Chicago. I don't know if I really want to do that at 8.8K. JP France, I don't mind. I think he's one of the best real-life pitchers on this slate at 8K. Again, it's warm in St. Louis, though. St. Louis was hot yesterday. We liked him. Like, that's literally just the nature of this slate. I guess Hauser, because of our pitcher rankings over here too, but I would much rather save 2,900 and just go down to win. Like, I am not thrilled to play Adrian Hauser at all with a 2.5K prop, some juice on the over. So I guess my rankings, we're not going to be able to say Max Scherzer. I'm going to go Win 1, and this is point per dollar. Sheehan 2, JP France 3. I'd be lying to you if there was any confidence in that at all. If I was playing MME or anything, I'd probably keep almost every single pitcher in my pool. I would lock button Max Scherzer, and I would hope to find the right combo that the right SP2 fit with my bats. Can't lie to people and say I'm confident guy. I'm not. This slate is so gross outside of Scherzer. FanDuel, lock him in. DK, lock him in. Figure out SP2 is how I say it. Gyiraszin, though, you have to give 3 pitchers not named Max Scherzer. Who are you going?
Not named Max. I think I would probably say, that's tough. JP France, because as you mentioned, he is the best pitcher in the group. And then I would say Emmett Sheehan, just because he has the quality start and the win equity, I would say. And then I would probably go with your 4K guy just because you have to play 2 pitchers, and he does have a chance at possibly getting you positive points at 4K. And then at that point, you could literally put 1 through 4 from the Dodgers in your lineup if that's what you want to do, because I don't believe a majority of people are going to be able to do that. So, yeah, I guess that would be the play. But as I said, I play on FanDuel, as y'all know. So FanDuel for me, if I was playing 150, but hey, I'll give kudos to DK, man. I might start playing in that $3 150 if they keep putting that up there. I think that's, it's $450, but you know what? It's good practice. If you want to, just hone in your craft, try different optos, trying different things. That's something to do instead of, you can play in the quarter one or whatever if you want, but the $3 one at least has got a decent payout.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm scared that they're not going to run it for a long time. DK randomly puts those slates out and then they stop forever. If you're trying to practice and you can do the 50 cent, the nickel, whatever they have, definitely do that. I'm not able to. I don't know, Gyiraszin on DK, but some people, you're limited. You can't play $1 and $2, $3 and above, which is why, I love that $3 is perfect there. It definitely takes time. Obviously, 150. Go into solver, make sure you have 5-man stacks, make sure you have everything you want. 150 is a whole different ball game than single entry and stuff. But no, I like that $3 up there as well. But they do have like nickel, dime contests, I believe, still 150 if you want to practice there. But yeah, right here, Nympho, good point. And on a slate like this, I totally agree. Let Solver figure out SP2, our partner optimizer over here at SHIPIT Nation. Totally is how I'd approach it. Like I said, I'd leave almost everyone in the pool, lock Max Scherzer, see what fits on certain teams. I'd spread out my SP2 exposure. No way I'm going all in on one guy. We talked 20 minutes, 15 minutes on pitching. Not sure where we got too far talking about SP2. We're not going to come on here and have confidence in something we're not really confident. So both Gyiraszin and myself, our three pitchers outside of Scherzer was Sheehan, was France, and was Wynn. But, man, if you want to play Kyle Hendricks, sure. You want to play 80-year-old Adam Wainwright, sure. I mean, on a slate like this, he can get you a 10, and 10 very well could be on the winner. But, yeah, Gyirazin's going like this. I don't like Wainwright. I don't like Hendricks either. But it is a slate you literally can make a case for pretty much anyone. Andrew Martinez, I see Bassett's getting ownership, thoughts of stacking against him. We will definitely touch on that. Baho Jenkins in chat. What's going on, man? Hope everything is going well. Who else do we got? Someone, Scary Creations. I didn't say hi to you. You called me out. You said something after I was talking to everyone else. So Scary Creations, what is up? We also got my man Nick in here. What is up, man? Hope everybody out here having a great day so far. Sweating some early baseball, sweating some golf, afternoon baseball. Great time to be a sports fan. Great time to make some money. Head over to SHIPITNation.com. Get in the Discord as well. All right, Gyiraszin. Pitching is done, thankfully. Now the fun part, though, with pitching and how bad it is, that means bats have to be pretty fun on this slate. We'll start with the first one of the night. San Francisco Giants, Toronto Blue Jays, Keaton Winn, Chris Bassett on the mound. Well, obviously, we talked about this Keaton Winn guy, but 3-4 innings and then a bullpen game after. It literally was a price play. Nothing about this guy in general. Blue Jays will be low owned, about a 5 total. And then you got to touch on these Giants. Chris Bassett, the most popular SP2. Andrew Martinez mentioned it. Are you getting any Giants for some leverage? We'll wait till he gets back. He is frozen. Personally, so I'll touch on this game quick. I don't love the Blue Jays compared to some other spots on this slate. Gyiraszin, we got you back? No, not quite. I don't love the Blue Jays on this slate. I don't love picking on bullpen games. I like Win more at SP2 compared to pretty much everybody else on this slate. Tons of big totals. A lot of good weather on this slate as well. 82, 95, 80 degrees. This game in the dome. I'm not going to get to it as much. I think there's other teams I definitely like more than Toronto personally. As far as stacking against Bassett and the leverage that way, yeah, I think that's totally fine. I'm not going to be doing the Brewers side against Scherzer. Bassett hasn't been as good as of late. The Giants team, though, the problem with them is pinch hit risk. I never know who's going to get pinch hit for. Looking at this lineup here, plenty of lefties scattered throughout. You feel comfortable with the righties not getting pinch hit for. I don't know. With so many good totals on this slate, though, so many good teams, I'm just not sure they are the Giants. Like, what are their chances to be on the winner compared to the ownership? I think it's probably about right. Giants will be low owned. Don't think they have the highest chance to be at the winner. I like plenty bats more. So, no, Giants are fine as leverage. I don't really like them, though. No Blue Jays for me. I like other spots. Let me get this figured out quick. One shot. Oh, that is not correct. There we go. Hold on. Give me a sec, guys. All right. Perfect. Hopefully Gyiraszin can get back. I will go. Hey, I'm going to message Hamwich and give me a second. I'll mention Hamwich in Discord. See if I can get someone else on. Otherwise, I will run through these final 4 games. So appreciate you guys hanging with us on this fun 5-game slate. Gyiraszin sipping some Modelo's in his camper. Yeah, Hamwich, slide in, man. He just messaged. Slide in. Click on that StreamYard link. I do appreciate that. Awesome stuff. So when Hamwich is getting in, I will touch on the next game. Hopefully I let him in. All right, sorry about that. Next game on the slate, we got the Milwaukee Brewers and the New York Mets. Adrian Hauser, Max Scherzer. Of course, we touched on good hitting weather, 80 degrees. Wind will be blowing out a little bit in New York. We talked about the Brewers. Hamwich in here. Awesome stuff. I'll touch on this game, then I'll bring you in, Hamwich. Appreciate you hopping on for us, though. As far as Scherzer, he's going to be the chalk of all chalk. You touched on it. You want to play the Brewers for leverage. Sure, it's not something I'm going to be doing. Then Adrian Hauser against these Mets. I looked at these pitcher rankings over here at ShipItNation.com. Hauser grading out pretty well, which would make a case. I think he's fine as an SP2. However, Gyiraszin hopped in too. Hold on. We got 3 people. Stay in here, Hamwich. Stay in here for sure. We'll run it.
This could be the first ever 3-man booth in Shipping Nation history. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to get – hey, there we go. I figured it out. Man, is looking clear too.
Yeah, the submarine blew up. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, gosh. So, yeah, that is so we're on the Brewers and the Mets. I touched on the last game. I'll go to you two as well. But because how well Hauser grades out, there's other spots on this slate I like more for bats. I'm not playing the Brewers. I don't love the Mets as much, but Hamwich, I'm going to start with you. We're going to touch on you actually just got in here. Initial thoughts on pitching, then break down the Toronto and the San Fran game.
Yeah, you guys nailed it. I mean, Max is a surefire lock in FanDuel, in my opinion. And then same on DK title. I heard you say 150 on both, and I'm right there with you. When you look at these other pitchers, they're awful. I'm not on JP France at all. I don't think he's any good. And I would actually stack against the Cardinals. I know we're not talking about stacks, but I'm out on him. I actually like Chris Bassett just a little bit. Just the Ks are there. I mean, I know he's not any good either, but I would have some interest in Bassett just with the K upside. But man, it's after Max, it's pretty rough. So good luck on all you DK players because it's rough at SP2 tonight.
Yeah, great stuff. Who do you got? Or first, the Giants game, Toronto game. Any bats for you in that one?
Yeah, I mean, I like Bassett. I mean, I don't like Bassett, but I could play him on DK. I mean, I actually like Jock Peterson a lot as a one-off from the left-handed side of the plate. He's got tons of power. Bassett gives up power to lefties and Jock. And really, the thing with the Giants, and you all know this, is there's just so much pitch hit risk. He gets pitch hit some, but I think he can do his damage in his first 3 or 4 at bats before he does get pitch hit late in the game. So Jock Peterson would be my only one from the Giants side that I have interest in.
I like it. Gyiraszin, I don't know what you did when everything went out, but you're now literally picture perfect, clear. Looks like everything with your connections going well. Safety meeting, beers going. I'm jealous of the life Gyiraszin's living right now. Jake says anytime you're on, you give out winners. Any winners in this Giants or Blue Jays game when it comes to bats?
Oh, he's on mute.
No, I wasn't gonna say let you say anything. I was gonna see how long it went. Gyiraszin, do you not know how to unmute yourself? There you go.
You guys, you think I know better by now. I'll blame it on the Dos Equis I'm drinking. But either way, dude, Hamwich nailed it there with Peterson. Peterson, that dude crushes freaking righties. I mean, you want some leverage play, that's it, man. Like, I mean, I wouldn't even be opposed if you wanted to play Bassett to play Peterson in your lineup. I mean, that wouldn't even be a bad idea either if you wanted to get a little silly because it's only 5 games. You're looking for a homer, so you don't care if your pitcher gives up 1 or 2. If he hits a 2-run homer off him, good. I mean, it works both ways for you. But, I mean, FanDuel probably not doing that. But Peterson, for me, is definitely the guy I'd be looking at. Toronto, yeah, I'm not really enamored with Toronto today. There's a couple other spots that I'm looking at. I mean, Title, you look at the slate, a lot of times when I first start looking, as when I do in the quick hit videos, obviously I like to know what the over-unders are, team totals, and everything else. It just kind of lines it up in your mind for you. And then you can kind of, jog them where you want. And having that game total of 11.5 in that Dodgers-Colorado game, but you got 2 games today with 10. So we got lots of opportunities to be different today. So I think that's where we're going. And this Toronto and San Fran game isn't it. But Peterson is by far my favorite one-off of the whole slate today.
Yeah, I love it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, this and no data to really back this up, but the Blue Jays typically crush when they're lower owned. So no one's playing them. Everybody's going to the Rockies, the Dodgers, a little bit of the Rockies, Wrigley Field game with a win game. Maybe the Cardinals, Astros. So I think the Blue Jays come a little bit lower owned, and they typically perform better when they are lower owned. Not to say that they perform better because they're lower owned, but they could crush. They have the bats. They have the power to potentially get there on a small slate, especially.
Yeah, no, they will be low owned. I agree with that. And a 5 total, other people are going to go to other spots. I get it. Like I said, there's multiple outside of the Dodgers. I think hitting will be fairly spread out on this slate. There's other spots I like more than this game. But yeah, I mean, low owned Blue Jays or lower owned Blue Jays. You can't go wrong with that. Giants, I like your guys' jock call. Not a full stack for me, though, really. Then I touched on the Mets, Brewers a little bit. Hamwich, I'll go to you. Anything in this game for bats?
In the Brewers game?
Yeah, Brewers, Mets.
Yeah, no Brewers for me. I mean, I talk about it, or I've talked about it on here quite a bit. I like it when people are batting up in the lineup. If you wanted to get some leverage off Scherzer, Jesse Winker, who's been awful all year, I like him in the 2-hole. He's going to get 4 at-bats. He's got a little bit of power. Max gives up some power. So, Gyiraszin mentioned it, doing the one-off. He hits a 2-run homer off Max and, small slate. I could see it. Probably won't do it myself because I'm only playing one team tonight, but definitely don't mind Jesse Winker, but no, definitely not stacking the Brewers either. And then the Mets, they've been struggling for the most part, and we like Hauser a little bit, so I'll probably be off the Mets as well.
Yeah, like people are saying, like Hauser's a tough click. He is definitely a tough click. There's no doubt about it. But we talk about it. Tambo does. Nades does a lot. Looking at pitcher rankings doesn't mean you have to play that pitcher. But when there's a lot of good stacks on this slate, maybe it bumps. At least it did for me. Seeing Hauser up there, the Mets have been struggling a bit as of late. A lot of good hitting on this slate. Just that pitcher rankings push me even down farther on the Mets. So yeah, don't love these first two games as much. Gyiraszin. First of all, my question, is that a Jeter or no? That's all you got to say. And then what are you doing in this game?
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a Jeter.
All right, that's all I need to hear.
Yeah.
Next game.
I got, let's see here, strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, I know that kind.
I got Tropicana something cookies. The Shirley Temple one's the good one. The banana one's pretty good too. But so the question is, Title, how much do you pay per jar?
I think it's like 40, maybe something like that. I don't know. I'd have to go back. It's haven't got as much Jeters. I've been doing my own, just getting the flour and doing my stuff. I haven't been buying Jeters as much lately.
Yeah, absolutely. We get them 4 for $90.
Wow, that's a good deal.
So yeah, they're supposed to be 3 for $90, but they see me enough in there. I get 4 for $90. But either way,
yeah. What you got? Mets Brewers. Jordan's loving it.
So the Brewers are the worst hitting team on the slate, if you ask me. I'm not playing any Brewers today. I'm not interested in any of them, not even close. There's just other spots I think I'm going to rather attack today than either one of these two spots here. I'm not really I'm not enamored with anything. There's not even any one-off guys. I mean, you could argue you could play Pete Alonso anytime. Lindor's been hitting. You can say that, but honestly, when I was looking at the hitting in the slate here, and there's 5 games, I crossed this one off. This is the game I literally was like, no thanks. I don't want anything to do with this game hitting-wise. I mean, like I said, not even a one-off. At least we could find Peterson against the SP2 last game. I mean, this one here, I don't even find – there's not even anything no thanks. Nothing I want.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't love these first 2 games as much as bats, which means there's 3 games left. I'll have a little interest here. I love this game, man. Absolutely went nuclear yesterday, Hamwich. 95 degrees in St. Louis. You talked about JP France. You don't like him. Cardinals, I think, pretty low owned on this slate, too. He's been reverse splits in his career. Arenado and Goldie went deep yesterday. Don't have that lineup out yet. I don't see. Arenado left that game, so not even sure he'll be in the lineup. Will Smith is not in the lineup as well. I believe our boy Landa just said. So when we get to that, no Will Smith for the Dodgers. But, man, 95 degrees in St. Louis. Ball will be flying. I have interest on both sides of this game. I prefer the Astros. Adam Wainwright is someone I like picking on in 2023. I think a lot of runs will be scored, but I got interest in both sides. What about you, Hamwich?
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned it. France is a reverse splits guy, so the righties profile well. Goldschmidt, absolutely. Arenado, like you said, left early last night, so we'll want to check his availability to see if he can come back in, as well as Johnny Walker. I like Johnny Walker, who has a lot of power in that lineup, righty. So if he is in the lineup, I like. And then down there, normally bats in the 7th or 8th hole, Paul DeJong, who will be lower owned as well. I like those 2 righties lower in the lineup.
Awesome. I like it. Gyiraszin, sign me up for both sides of this game. You didn't have as much interest in the first 2 either. What are you doing in this game?
This was one of them games, if you want to be different from Coors, you can game stack this one or you can game stack the other one that's a 10. As we mentioned, there's 2 games that are at total over under 10. I don't mind game stacking either of them. To be honest with you, this is the one I actually think I like the Philly and Cubs game a little more to game stack. But Wainwright stinks. His 10% K rate is awful. I mean, Tucker here is in a great spot in this game. And then you're looking at the other end with France. France is kind of splitsy as a righty. So Arenado and Goldschmidt are definitely in play here. So, you don't have to buy into that. I think both of those 2 are in pretty good spots. It's going to be warm there. So, I mean, definitely I could see some runs being scored on both sides. But the thing with me is with Houston game stacking, obviously in this game here, we're looking at to where the Cardinals are obviously the team we're putting ahead, in my opinion, as the better, more upside home run wise. So to me, I'm pairing as far as the game stack. Do I want to go Houston versus the Cubs? I mean, that's my opinion of it. So I think the Cubs have more upside as a game stack than the other way. So that's why I feel the other one's a little better. But Houston, to me, just doesn't have the homers outside of Tucker at this spot. I mean, I'm not a fan of the rest of that Houston lineup. So, yeah, I do like Houston, but I think I would mini stack Houston, especially on DK. If you're playing, maybe you wanted two guys, but Tucker would be definitely somebody I'd include. Jolks is interesting. I think he's a decent play today too. But yeah, I'm definitely interested more in the Cardinals just because I think you're going to see more. I think that's kind of a leverage play, and I think the Cardinals in that heat with Arenado and Goldschmidt, I just think it's a decent play today. I really think there could be some runs scored in that game.
Yeah, I really like this game. I prefer the Astros side. I agree with you about the upside. Like if you look at the lineup for the Cards and the Astros without Yordong in it, definitely looks better, more upside for the Cards. However, I mean, only 3 guys are priced above 4K for the Astros. Then everybody 4K and below. Again, there's not, if you want to do like a secondary Dodgers or an expensive stack with the Blue Jays or something like that, I'm already playing Scherzer, so I'm spending up there. SP2 you can save, but I like these Astros more with some of the prices. Definitely love Kyle Tucker right there. Altuve, Bregman, Pena down there has got some pop. You got a guy completely free, first base, outfield in Madrid, Jolts. Yanir Diaz, he will be popular though, I think, in this stack. I don't mind leaving him off. Getting a little different in your Astro stack that way. But yeah, 95 degrees. Loved the game yesterday. Love it today. Monitor if Arenado is in that lineup. Would be a bump up. And I do prefer the righties right here against JP France. We got 2 games left on this slate. We do appreciate if you hit that like button for us. Like, little hurtful right now. Hamwich jumped on because Gyiraszin was frozen. And Gyiraszin comes back. Like he got a whole new internet in the meantime. He's partying out here. Hamwich is having a great time. I'm having a great time as well. Awesome Thursday. We appreciate you guys hanging out again. Like button helps us out a ton. 2 games left, guys. 2 games left. Gyiraszin, I'll start with you in this one. Philadelphia Phillies, Chicago Cubs. Taijuan Walker on the mound for the Phillies. Kyle Hendricks on the mound for the Cubs. About 80 degrees, wind blowing out a little bit. So the last 2 nights, wind has been blowing in. It's been a little cooler. Pitching weather, the last 2 nights at Wrigley. Today looks more hitting than pitching. It's not like 90 degrees, 20 mile an hour winds or any of that by any means, but definitely better hitting weather than pitching. You said you like this game more than the last game. What side do you like more? Do you like both? Talk about this one.
Yeah, I really like the Phillies side here. I think the Phillies side is really good. But see, the Phillies to me are a team. So the baseball gods had to screw with me. My all-time favorite player to play in DFS, and no, it's not Spencer Torkelson. For me, is Trey Turner. I'll play Trey Turner. I mean, I trust that guy more than any guy in DFS. I think I like Trey Turner. That's my dude. The guy I hate the most to play in all DFS is the most overrated baseball player, in my opinion, and that's Bryce Harper. I hate playing Bryce Harper. So I just can't click his name, man. I'll go around him any different way. If I click his name, he must get a signal that says Scott's playing you today, and he just sucks it up every time. I can't stand that dude. But either way, the Phillies for me are a great spot. I really do like all the Phillies 1 through 9 here. I think this game, the wind's blowing out. It's like 78 degrees, wind blowing out. And I mean, hey, we all look at different tools. If you look over at our boy Kevin Ross, a little weather edge tool, this game's got such an advantage as far as hitting. And I think both teams are in huge spot here, and I'm really liking the whole game stack here. I think this is the best game stack. This is the best way to be different from the Dodgers, by far number 1 in my opinion. You want to just leave the Dodgers off, game stack this one. If you want, maybe throw in a one-off like Jock Peterson for a slight leverage. And I'm telling you right now, I think that's the way to win tonight if you want to be different from the Dodgers. If the Dodgers go off, then so be it, but I think this is the best way, in my opinion. These last two games we discussed, I would kind of mix and match any way of these two games. If you want any of the four offenses here, and I would rank them, in my opinion, Phillies 1, Cardinals 2, Cubs 3, and then we'll go Houston 4. So, Houston and Cubs are pretty much about even, but I just think these two offenses are all in a good spot. But the game stack for me is where I'd go, even a 4-4 on FanDuel. And I'll tell you, I've been a little hesitant, and it cost me a Q spot. Actually, I would have had a tie. The 4-4 game stacks, you look at certain contests you play, and I get to know like certain way people play. And there's a lot of people that play 4-4s. And then you think to yourself, I'm going to be duped because this is the obvious 4-4, and then you one off it, and then that one way wins, and only one or two people have it, and it's so frustrating at times. But, I think this is the best way to beat this 4-4 stack in this game here. That's what I'm all about. I like all of it up and down. I think you could definitely have wait a minute, let me just pull something up. I was looking at something that I was looking at. Where's that game here?
In the meantime, little BVP for any BVP truthers out there. Sean V. Josh Harrison's got some good BVP against Kyle Hendricks in the 8-hole. So if you're a BVP guy, good info right there, Sean V. He'll be very low on.
Yeah, that's a pretty good call. I don't mind that either. I don't really like looking at BVP. People ask me that all the time.
I'm not a BVP guy either, but hey, some people are. That was a good little tidbit.
I do like it though if the sample size is big. And generally, the only time a BVP comes into play if the players play in the same division with each other or have for a long period of time. Then generally I'll peek at that because I think that does come into play because it becomes a mind game after a while. You'll hear certain pitchers that say, I can't get that guy out. I can't do this. I can't do that. So baseball's so volatile. I do believe in that mind game kind of mindset. But, yeah, I think here in this, for me, like I said, Philadelphia, I think is just in such a good spot all the way around that I'm all about stacking it. Schwarber, I think, is in a great spot, even though he hasn't been hitting for shit lately. It seems like
it's either a strikeout or a home run.
10 games he hasn't hit a homer.
If he ain't hitting a homer, he's striking out. I will say, though, for everyone out there watching, Gyiraszin, if you guys watch the show, you guys know how it goes. All Gyiraszin did, I'll play everyone on the Phillies except Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is going deep today. There's no cue, at least, for Gyiraszin not to win. So if he does go deep, at least it doesn't kill him. But all of that slander for Bryce Harper when he's been stroking these Phillies, Bryce Harper is probably going deep today. I know. And then your boy, Spencer Torkelson, I don't know. You've been in the Boondocks. I don't know if you've been following, but double dong today. Big old Spencer Torkelson. Hope you played the early slate, at least your rookie cards. Maybe went up a couple cents, but Spencer Torkelson got the job done. Hamwich, go ahead.
I was going to say, Torkelson, so here's the thing with Torkelson. He came out, I thought, man, this kid hit the ball real hard. He's going to be good. And then, being a Detroit homer, you get sucked in. And I collect sports cards. I'm a donkey. I go and buy, hundreds and $300 hobby boxes and sit and, break them and have fun doing all that shit. Like right now I'm chasing some Ellie Cruz in the 2022 Topps Chrome, in the Chromes or the Bowman. So you got to look, I'm having fun doing that. But the thing right now is I got sucked in on the Torkelson thing. Riley Green, I actually think is going to be a little better, but Torkelson hits the ball really hard. He can't, man, that dude's got to learn to hit a little bit, but hey, that's all I got in Detroit. I mean, you get sucked in when it's your rookie that's got the top guy. I mean,
he says he gets sucked in. Gun to his head made him buy Torkelson 20 of them cards.
I got a bunch of shitload of them.
Yeah, I know you do. Hamwich, I'm bringing you in, man. Gyiraszin, you are the absolute man. People are absolutely loving. I am too. Hamwich, what are you doing in this game? It is nice hitting weather in Rico.
That's a tough act to follow, but I'm gonna have to play my boy Bryce now because Gyirazin's hating on him so much. But I think let's talk about game theory a little bit. I mean, the cores hasn't gone off in the first two nights, and so this will be the contest. If it doesn't go off again, you're different automatically. Not playing any Dodgers. I saw the wind blowing out about 8 miles an hour. Is that about right?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So nothing crazy, but it has a 10 total. or 9.5, total. So I think this would be the game to get different. You could game stack it with Max different automatically. I saw in the chat where Suzuki's out for the Cubs, which I don't like, but Morel's in, and Swanson. So they got some sticks that can hit it out. Bellinger can go yard. So I do like the Cubs. All the Phillies. Harrison went yard last night. I'm at 8. Probably won't get to him at 8, but game stack this up and hope the Dodgers score 5-6 runs again with one person going off like they have the first 2 nights. So that's all I got.
So I was laughing at Gyiraszin. So I'll ask you this. I'll ask you the same question. For Gyiraszin, actually, I didn't even ask him. He talked about it. This game and the last game. What game would you prefer? Rank those 4 teams. I guess throw in the Blue Jays too before we get to Coors Field, since you like the Blue Jays a bit. Rank those 5 teams. Yeah,
I'd go Phillies 1, Cardinals 2, Blue Jays 3, Cubs, Astros. But I mean, all those pitchers suck, right?
Yeah.
Wainwright's awful, so I could see any of those 5 teams blowing up. But the Astros would be number 5 for me.
Yeah, and that's why, like, if you are 150, I would still lock Max Scherzer, because there's plenty of offenses you can get to on this slate and feel good about. Outside of the Brewers, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if any of these guys really end up on the winner. I don't love the Giants, but it wouldn't be the craziest thing if they're on the winner. So, yeah, I mean, those 2 games, very good. 10 total in them both. Last game of the night, though, Coors Field, 11.5 total. Not the best hitting weather, only 70 degrees, in Colorado. The Dodgers, of the 3 games, this is their lowest total they've had. Still almost at 7, but it was higher against Freeland. It was higher against Seabold. Now they get Chase Anderson, who's absolutely no good, and then Emmett Sheehan on the mound for the Dodgers. Hamwich, I'll go to you. What are you doing with the Dodgers? Again, the lineup did come out, and there is no Will Smith in the lineup. Who do we got? Man, it is Austin Barnes. Yeah, Austin Barnes in the 9-hole at $3K. It's cheap, man. Outside of 1 through 4, all 5.5K and above, 3.5, 3.1, 3.2, 3.9, 3K, which means people will be playing plenty of Dodgers since you can 5-man stack them. Of course, you can't just 5-man stack all the expensive guys if you're going to go with Bassett, Scherzer, something like that. But you can wrap around. You can make it work. There's enough cheap bats. What are you doing with the Dodgers, Hamwich? Overweight, fade, underweight? What are you doing with these Rockies? You help Gyiraszin, so I'll help you. Mute button. There you go.
There we go. I was looking at the lineup, and yeah, I mean, 1 through 4. The initial lineup that I did have 3 Dodgers in it. It was Betts, Freeman, and Muncy. And Muncy was 4th, but now he's batting 3rd. So I do like that. Those guys 5 through 9, they just have such pitch hit risk that I don't want to take that on. I mean, Barnes, is going to get pitch hit for it at some point. If a lefty comes in, Hayward or Peralta could be taken out. So I'm going to be a little bit.
Do you think Vargas will be safe since it's righty right now to start? I mean, he has been pinch hit for, but because he's in the lineup to start, I'd assume he's probably fine.
He's probably fine, but you never know. If it gets to the 8th, 7th, 8th, or 9th inning, they may try to platoon it there. But I just think I think you could get different. It's tough with those top 3. Betts went off last night. JD Martinez went off 2 nights ago. I mean, and so you were safe if you weren't playing Dodgers, but they could erupt at any time, and then you get Coors Field added on top of that. 3 lineups. If you're doing 3 lineups, I think you'd have to at least go 1 team, 1 lineup with the Dodgers. Like I said, I built 1 lineup so far on FanDuel, and I had those 3 that I just alluded to. So I like the Dodgers, but if I was 150, in which I'm not, I think I would go underweight on them myself.
And no Rockies for you? Do you have any interest in Sheehan?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to wait till the weekend, let them beat up on this Tigers pitching staff. Sorry, Gyiraszin, but I'm gonna get on some Rockies this weekend against those Tigers, those hot Tigers.
So would you have any interest in Sheehan as an SP2 on DK? I know you came. I mean, it's so gross because you don't have interest in the Rockies, or not even.
Yeah, and you said it's always tough to roster a pitcher in Coors. You just don't ever know. Minimal interest in rostering him in Coors. I just think Bassett has greater K upside that I don't think I would need him. No.
Yeah, makes sense. Gyiraszin, last game of slate, Coors Field. What are you doing?
He did it again.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be a donkey here. I got like 2 words out, but I think what I'm actually going to do is probably play one or two, maybe a mini stack at the Dodgers, maybe a couple or two of these big hitters, and then I think I'm going to go elsewhere to those other games. But if I'm going to play Max, I don't know. I'm going to see where I can get with the Dodgers. I'm really not. I don't want to play any of the guys in the bottom 5, really, probably, of the Dodgers. I'd like stick with the top 4. But, I really think the Colorado side is kind of interesting, just because Sheehan is going to get some ownership. You look at the team totals. Colorado has the same team total as Philadelphia, who we just churched up was a really great spot. Vegas thinks they're in exact lockstep with them. So it's interesting if you wanted to maybe go a Colorado stack with a couple Dodgers and be heavier on Colorado. I think that's an interesting way to be different today too. If you wanted to do that from a side to get some exposure to this game, I think you could do so. I mean, you look at all the teams in play today and go look at the ERAs and the stats of all the bullpens. The 2 worst bullpens are in this game today, Colorado and the Dodgers. I mean, surprisingly, the Dodgers bullpen stinks for as good as they should be. You would think they would be, but they're really awful. I mean, Colorado's bullpen, I think their ERAs, literally 4.74, 4.79. They've given up 38 and 35 homers, which is at the top half of the league. So, yeah, I think this game here, especially with the weather conditions there, Colorado, I think is just not in too many people's thought process. So that part alone, I think, like I said, if you go a little heavier on the Colorado, you don't have to veer off the Dodgers. But I think let's just say Colorado wins, let's say 9-6. I mean, you literally could be in a spot to where you could be in a great spot. And even if you wanted to one-off somebody, I think that's decent too. But yeah, I wouldn't discount playing any of the Rockies here. I wouldn't. If I played the Rockies, I would include some Dodgers, because I don't expect the Rockies to win 10-1, nothing like that. If I think they're going to win 8-5. They're going to win 9-6, 9-7. They're going to hang in the game. I don't see them just shutting. I just don't see it being that way. So, yeah, I think that's definitely interesting though. So I wouldn't discount that.
No, I think the Rockies, if you're making me pick Giants, Blue Jays, I'm trying to look at the low-owned teams on this slate. Giants, Blue Jays, Brewers, Mets, I guess. Mets will get some. But if those are the 4 lowest teams and you add in the Rockies right there, I think Rockies would probably be my favorite, just because I love Coors Field, of course. I've always liked going to the opposite side of the chalk. You mentioned a great stat about Dodgers bullpen being bad. Sheehan, his only 3rd start? There's a lot of unknowns. Coors Field's a whole different beast. I don't love this Colorado lineup. It's not sexy. Playing 5 of them definitely isn't sexy. I think I prefer the mini stack, but that's why they're always a lot lower owned. So, yeah, I don't mind some of the Rockies to get different. If I'm going a Max Scherzer and a Bassett, I'm already eating chalk at both pitchers. I think that's when the Rockies would make a little sense that way. So that is all 5 games. We're going to go low-owned or low-ish owned pitcher. I guess there's only so many ways. Any pitcher, I guess, you can name outside of Max today. Then we're going to go dong of the day call and get on out of here. But before that, again, we appreciate if you hit that like button for us. Let's make a push to 100 before we get on out of here. Thank Hamwich for hopping on. Thank Gyiraszin for providing a bunch of entertainment, as always. If you're not a member at SHIPIT Nation, you want to see whose Hamwich is on tonight. He has his favorite pitchers, favorite stacks up on the site. Gyiraszin, same thing, talks FanDuel, gives some of his favorite one-offs too. Get Nade's core plays. If you're playing cash games, you get my core plays on FanDuel and DraftKings. Projections are up, stack rankings, hitter rankings, all of that good stuff up at ShipItNation.com. MMA this weekend, Golf Showdown still going on too. No better time. Head over to ShipItNation.com. Get in the Discord. Gyiraszin, you have to say a pitcher not named Max Scherzer. Who's it going to be? Gyiraszin, pitcher not named Max Scherzer. Who do you got? Hamwich, pitcher not named Max Scherzer. Who do you got?
Oh, give me Chris Bassett, 8+ Ks tonight. I think Bassett rebounds. He sucks, but you got to play somebody. So let's go Chris Bassett.
TY Fish, what's Max's ownership on FanDuel? If you're talking high stakes, 96% maybe. If you're talking the big GPP, 85. I don't know. It's going to be a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be higher than you pretty much.
Tournament you're in.
Yeah, it depends the size. But even the biggest tournament, 85, 80, 75. I mean, SP2 is so gross. I think people are just going to figure it out different with bats. So, yeah. Gyiraszin, favorite pitcher, not named Max Scherzer.
I'd probably just go JP France just because I think he's the best overall talent-wise pitcher on the slate. I mean, I don't like anybody other than them. I mean, these other guys, look, K rates are just puke. I wouldn't even bother. But, I mean, yeah, over on DK, Bassett is definitely going to be the SP2. That's going to be the chalky guy. I don't mind Bassett at all. But, yeah, for me, it's Max, 100%. Max is going to be over 80% owned, and I think in every tournament today.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll just say my favorite low-owned pitcher, literally because what Gyiraszin said, mine would be Keaton Winn, min price 4K, and literally it's because of what Gyiraszin said. I hate all of these guys so much. There's enough expensive bats I like. Get me way cheap as I can go, spend up. I think bats are going to win the slate. What team? Well, that's the $1,000,000 question. But I think bats, someone puts up a crooked number, puts up a big one today that wins the slate. Not pitching is how I see it. So let's go. Low owned dong of the day, just dong of the day. I'll start with myself. I'm going Kyle Tucker. I like picking on Waino right in the heart of the Astros order. I like the Astros today. I think they come in a little lower owned. It's not a sexy lineup again, but Kyle Tucker right in the middle. He would be a part of all my Astros stacks. Gyiraszin, Torkelson's not on the slate. You missed your chance. So who do you got now for the dong of the day?
I mean, we talked about Jock Peterson. I do like Jock Peterson. We talked about that. I think that one is definitely one with some leverage that you could throw in there. But yeah, I'm also gonna say that I also believe that we're gonna see a home run from James Outman today on the Dodgers. So I think if you want a low-owned guy on the Dodgers, you got to include. I think Outman's the guy that is going to be the one of the bottom guys there of the Dodgers that basically balances out your stack. Because the thing with the Dodgers, they got all low-end guys, all high-end guys. You play 2 and 2, they balance each other out. So think of that way too when you're making your team. If you play 2 and 2 of them in FanDuel, you're going to be pretty much in the majority. So either go high 4, all heavy guys, or 3 and 1 heavy guys. So that's just just think about how most people are going to be building their teams. They're already spending $9,700 on a pitcher. So don't be afraid to maybe look for some one-offs that are really cheap. Hamwich mentioned Weimer from even Milwaukee. I mean, he's really cheap. I mean, you go in different directions. You go in different directions. With your one-offs, I think that's where you could be different too. But I would maybe look for cheap and then pay up heavy for some of these guys that are going to be coveted today.
Yeah, definitely makes some sense. Hamwich, who's going deep today, man?
I'm gonna give the people 2 double dong, if you will. One, and I know we don't agree with this in our stack rankings, but or our SP rankings, but Brandon Nimmo batting leadoff for the Mets, going to give Max Scherzer some run support. Really like Brandon Nimmo. Then 2 batters later, Francisco Lindor are going to dong with him. So Francisco Lindor and Nimmo both will hit a bomb tonight off Hauser and that Brewers bullpen.
Hey, little Mets interest, little Mets love right there from Hamwich to end the show. Nimmo double dong 2 nights ago. Awesome stuff, guys. Gyiraszin, appreciate you hanging in there. Hamwich, when Gyiraszin froze up, you were right in there, man. Appreciate you hopping in, stepping in, giving the people winners. All Hamwich's content's up on the site. Gyiraszin, I'm not sure if it's up yet, but it will be going up on the site as well. He's got FanDuel. Hamwich has DK today. We're in the Discord, of course. Nades, DK is up as well. He's been on fire. Check out what he has to say. All pitcher rankings, stack rankings, hitter rankings, projections up on the site as well. My cast stuff up as well. Awesome stuff, guys. Hope everybody out there has a great Thursday night. Tomorrow, MMA show, MLB show as well. Gyiraszin showing the Seckies. It's time to get on out of here. Head over to SHIPITNation.com. Get in the Discord. Thank you again, Hamwich. Awesome stuff, Gyiraszin. I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.
Like